Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm continuing my Jupiter through the houses series in Synastry. In this video I'm going to talk about what it means to have your Jupiter falling into someone's third house in Synastry, or their Jupiter falling into your third house in Synastry, because this is a really fun one. Third house Synastry can be kind of underrated, I think, because it has really good communication, and it's not super deep and intense like some of the water houses. It can be a bit more lighthearted, or like more suited for friendship. So I think it can be kind of overlooked. But Jupiter here, so wherever Jupiter falls in the partner's chart is where you bring your big, buoyant, expansive, lucky, blessed energy of your Jupiter sign, which is in a sense what Jupiter is. So it can really show where you are blessing the house person. And it also goes both ways though, because when we have our Jupiter falling into that house, that is what our Jupiter is in a sense like living in, and that's like the environment that our Jupiter is living in, so we feel it too. So I really do feel like the house overlays kind of go both ways. But the house person can really feel like the Jupiter person is someone who they can talk to. And they're easy to talk to. And actually, the Jupiter person feels the same way. This is also a really good overlay for like teacher-student, because what tends to happen here is there's a lot of mental energy. So when someone's Jupiter is falling into your third house, they get you thinking and you get them thinking, and you really can communicate about anything. So the third house is the house of communication, how you think, short trips, siblings. So the Jupiter person really can expand the mind of the house person. And, there's a really good, communication link. So it's definitely a good placement to have, sort of underrated. They can definitely feel like they can talk about anything, perhaps even too much. Sometimes the Jupiter person can feel so open with the house person, that they end up, oversharing, or it's just, it can start to feel like even like a sibling relationship, or like, more of a teacher-student relationship where we're really focused on the mind and mental energy. And you want to look at everything else going on, because this could be a really nice addition to a synastry that's like super plutonic or something, like harsh Pluto aspects. And then you've got someone's Jupiter falling into the third, and it kind of lightens it up and makes it kind of fun. And like, oh, we're learning, we're talking about anything. So it can be a nice addition to that. It can also be shown in the relationship chart of a couple that stays friends after they break up. That's one of my exes and I. We have his Jupiter falling into my third, and we've been able to remain friends. And there's also like a plutonic influence as well there, that people would probably be surprised that we were able to stay friends with my Pluto square his Venus and other things going on. But one of the influences is Jupiter in the third house. And how I noticed that too is like, there was always a strong mental component of the relationship, and, me teaching him things, him teaching me things, and like mind expanding things. We still do, like, he actually taught me the guitar even at one point. So, it's a pretty lighthearted, place to have Jupiter falling in. So wherever our Jupiter is, we can kind of be like the teacher too. So you could see the Jupiter person, seeing the house person as like the good student, the good learner, like, wow, you're so smart. And there can be a lot of respect and openness for each other's way of thinking and minds. And, even if like you don't believe the same things about the world and you think differently, there's a certain amount of like respect and like not trying to change that in the other person, which would be different than if we have a different planet overlaid in this house. Like, this one can really show that it's like, okay, well, maybe we don't agree on everything, but we are open enough to communicate about it, nonetheless. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, it definitely creates this feeling of like buddies or friends, and the Jupiter person really bringing a lot to the mind of the house person, and they can go on lots of trips together, like, you know, short trips around town, you know, let's check out this place, let's check out that place. I always say that about third house synastry because it tends to be there in couples that just enjoy doing like the day-to-day stuff together. Also sixth house synastry, you can see people enjoying to do just the day-to-day like boring stuff together. With third house, it's more like, you know, you want to explore things around your town or go to places you've never been, like, you know, in a shorter vicinities, which can be quite fun, you know. And so there's a lot of enjoyment of like these kind of trips, and like, yeah, can be a lot of learning together, you know, buying books together, and then, you know, telling your partner, I just learned this in this book, and then they tell you, well, I just learned this in my book. And it's really actually kind of cute how this overlay can happen, where you just definitely, by being in each other's presence, you expand each other's minds. And then you want to look at the rest of the synastry, like what else is going on. This wouldn't like in a horrible synastry otherwise, I don't think this would like save it or anything, but it can definitely add an element of learning and communicating well to any type of interaction or relationship. So yeah, I definitely like this one. I'd love to know your experience of this Jupiter in the third house overlay. Was it like this? Was it not like this? The only thing I would watch out for is, like, depending on the Jupiter person's Jupiter, they could sometimes, like, and I said earlier, this doesn't happen, but it sort of depends on the nature of the Jupiter sign and placement. They could try to influence the ideas of each other, or like sometimes Jupiter does not actually have an open mind. You know, it wants to just teach, not listen. So you'd have to just watch out for, like, maybe the people sometimes not actually listening to each other, or just believing the best in each other without actually seeing things clearly. Jupiter's different than Neptune, though, where it's not like illusion, but it's just, you could think so highly of each other that you don't actually see the real truth of what's being said with Jupiter, because Jupiter can kind of be like the Peter Pan, or like, you know, positively delusional planet. So you do want to actually be clear with each other and focus on what's really being said, and not just like your positive interpretation of what's being said. So anyways, that would probably be like the only potential negative of this placement is, are you really listening, or are you just feeling so positive about each other that you miss what was actually said? But yeah, really good things here. Both people feel quite open to communicate, even if, you know, at times maybe they're not actually the best at listening. Jupiter is quite an outward energy. It's more extroverted, you know, unless we have Jupiter coming through a more introverted sign. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. I'm doing your request. Let me know any videos you'd like me to do, and I'll add it to my list. Okay, thanks for watching, you guys. Bye.